Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Steve again, coming to you from the DFW area. I'm over here by the beautiful Trinity River in the Fort Worth area here. And I had some things I want to talk to you guys about today because, like I said, these videos are all about kind of my thoughts and what I'm thinking at the time. And I wanted to just share some information from earlier. I had an incredible conversation with my beautiful daughter, one of my beautiful daughters who lives in England with her beautiful younger sister. And we discussed all kinds of stuff. We talked about movies and culture, and we talked about history, and we talked about kind of current events and those types of things that took place. So the topic of this talk today, boys and girls, is going to be: don't listen to what they say, watch what they do. Because what they do is the truth. Okay, that's really the bottom line. And so we talked about different things, like she's looking forward to seeing Alita when it comes out. I've been promoting the heck out of it. It's a phenomenal movie. If you didn't catch my other video, go check it out. You definitely want to watch that film. But one of the things we talked about from a cultural perspective was how things are couched in the media, how narratives are put together. And it's very important for us to understand, especially as a people, especially as black people, that we've not been told the truth for a very, very long time when it comes to how things work and how things operate. There are just things she didn't know about a history that I had to explain to her. First of all, she didn't know that we were not monolithically one party type as a people when we started out from let's put it this way, we weren't the current party type as a people when we started out, and I'll get a little bit more on that in a few minutes. But one of the things I asked her, I like to ask a series of questions, especially when it comes to why. And I really several times said to her, start to learn to ask why. Why are things being put in this type of a narrative? Why are things being put in this type of a box? Who does it serve for the narrative to be framed that way? And so a great example of that, what we talked about, was our people. And one of the things I told her that's frustrating to me, and it's really been on my heart for a while, and I'm probably going to out myself in this video for some of you guys who know me or are getting to know me, who don't know my political leanings one way or the other. I don't care what people believe. What bothers me is that for those of us, and I'm talking about my people in particular, black people, the question I asked was, how come it's okay if the goal is really for us to be equal? If there's all this racism and white people are this and all, and they have all this control and white privilege and whatnot. The one area I do believe I don't believe any of that's true, by the way, but one area where I do believe that's true is the one bit of privilege that white people tend to have that we don't tend to be able to get for some reason, is they have the privilege, the ability to be able to openly believe whatever political affiliation they want to believe and not be openly and publicly chastised or humiliated for it. My thing was, if the whole goal is to be equal, how come white people can be Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Libertarians, Progressives, whatever, especially in the two main parties? How come they get to be that, but we as black people who vote 90+%, over 95% for one party normally, if we decide we want to switch and maybe have just a different point of view, we get called coon, we get called sellout, we get called Uncle Tom. To me, that's not freedom. I want that kind of privilege. I want to be able to just believe whatever I want to believe, whatever political affiliation I want to believe, that may be in large contrast to the majority, and have that be okay. And I asked her, when it's couched in that frame, when everything's like, well, this particular group is racist. I was, well, first of all, not everybody in that group can be racist. That just doesn't make any sense. That's not feasible. It makes no sense. And it said, so if that's true, but even if you couch it in that narrative, even if you couch it in that way, who does it serve? Why is that the case? Why is it being promoted in that way? Why is that the case? Who does it serve to believe that, to push that narrative? Who does it serve? You got to be careful. And I've done my research. I know the history. I know the history of the Republican and Democrat Party. I know where they come from. I know how the Republican Party started. For many who didn't know, did you know it was an abolitionist movement? The Republicans were anti-slavery. It was an anti-slavery party. Abraham Lincoln, the first Republican president, abolished slavery because there was a group of people who just didn't believe in slavery. Before the Republican Party, there was something called the Whig Party and the Democrats, and then the Republicans were the third party, and they took over and became the second new party, and the Whigs disappeared. But they were an anti-slavery party from the start. The first black congressman was a Republican. The first black senator was a Republican, and this is back when they appointed senators during Reconstruction, not when they were elected senators. But the first two congressmen, black congressmen in Congress were Republicans. The first senator was a Republican. And I told her, I said, we used to be a largely Republican following group people until the late 60s and early 70s. And we were told during that time that the parties flipped. Well, that's not true either. See, they got you to believe the lie. And as Goebbels said in the 40s in Germany, if you tell a lie enough times, it'll become the truth. They got you to believe the lie. But why? Who does it serve? By getting us to believe a certain way. For 60 years, we've been getting told one thing that turned out not to be true. But rather than believe me, I want you guys to go do your own research. See, I can say anything, and you can just pretend, oh, I'm this guy, he's just this, and he's that, and he's a sellout, and all this other stuff. You go do your own research. You don't have to believe me. I did my research. And that's how I know these things are true. And once you recognize the truth, you have a choice to make. I'm not going to accept the truth, or am I going to walk away from the truth? You have that choice. One of the other things we talked about was Planned Parenthood. I said, did you know the name Margaret Sanger, the woman who started Planned Parenthood? Because her mindset was, wow, Dad, you're really pro-life. Why is that the case? I said, because I know the history. Margaret Sanger started Planned Parenthood. Margaret Sanger was an avowed racist who spoke at Klan rallies. Margaret Sanger believed in eugenics, which is the propagation of the white race. She agreed with Hitler when it came to that. She really did. And Planned Parenthood was a way to control populations. They wanted to control their population. It was to control a particular type of population. And I told her it saddens me that we as a people have bought into all these false narratives, all these stories that aren't true. Great example is black people were somewhere between 13.5% and 14.5% of the population here in the U.S. It's been that way since my daughter's age was in my young 20s. Don't you think it should have gone up a little bit since that time? Or actually, even before that time. Since I was a kid, it's been that way practically. Don't you think it should have gone up somewhat since that time? But although we're 13 to 14% of the population, we're almost 40% of the abortions that take place in the U.S. About 50+% of the abortion clinics are in black neighborhoods. And I did the math when I was talking to my son. The numbers of black children that have been aborted since Roe v. Wade, if those kids had been allowed to live, just on pure statistic math, if those kids had been allowed to live, we'd be almost 20% of the population. We'd be the single largest minority group in the U.S. And we have an enormous amount of clout and power when it came to politics, especially if we didn't give our vote solely to one group. So you got to ask yourself, you heard in the news recently, Baltimore, slums, rats infested, crime infested, murder capital of the country. That's ridiculous. And it's run by people who say they love us. Well, I ask the question, if somebody says they love you and they're beating you, they don't love you. It's that simple. So don't listen to what people say. Watch what they do. What they do is the truth. You got to understand, guys, got to open your eyes. Stop drinking the Kool-Aid. Stop falling for the okie doke. Stop falling for the banana in the tailpipe. That stuff is out. You got to start looking at what people are doing, not listening to what they're saying. The stuff they say is all about making you feel good. But facts don't care about your fifis. They just don't. You got to learn to step up and pay attention. Open your eyes. I'm not saying you have to vote one way or the other. You vote for whoever you want to vote for, but vote based on knowledge, not based on feeling. Open your eyes. It's time for us to wake up. We are destroying ourselves. We have people who look like us that are helping in that destruction because they're getting paid to do so. And we have other people who are happy to see it happen while they promote an influx of brand new people from other areas around the world that can become the new people they can control. We got to wake up, guys. And I just said this because it was on my heart. It's what I'm thinking today. I know this video is a little heavier than the others, but this is a real thing that's been on my mind for a long time. It's time for us to wake up. Stop believing what people say. Watch what they do. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. If you like this channel, please subscribe, hit that like button, leave a comment, whether it be positive or negative, it's cool with me. I'm open to all the comments. I want to hear what people have to say. My fifis don't get hurt easy. I'm from the old school. I don't get triggered easy because you said something that you didn't like what I said. I'm not from that school. So if you have something to share with me, please do share it. This is Steve coming to you here from the Trinity River. Super excited to have you guys on board. Thank you for all your support, and I'm out.